Hi everyone, Chef Ron here, and we are just moments away from starting this week's episode of the Chef Ron Lock Show. But before we do that, I quickly wanted to let you know who's going to be on this week. We've got our luxurious lap of London lady, Lillian Lampshire, is coming back with her dirty martinis and a little bit of humor. And she's going to let you know what's going to be cooking up on this episode, along with the ingredients that'll be going into that. I will come right behind and show you how to put it all together and give you a fantastic presentation, and we'll take a little taste of that at the end just to make sure everything is alright. So, I hope to leave you with our 3 E's that we always do each week. That's a little bit of entertainment, a little bit of education, and a little bit of enlightenment, all wrapped up into one. So, hey, it's time for me to start heating up this kitchen, so let's get started with the Chef Ron Lock Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Lillian Lampshire.
Hello everyone, Lillian Lampshire here, and thank you so much. Oh, bravo to you too, darlings, thank you. Oh, thank you. I am Lillian Lampshire, and it's been a while since I've been on here, hasn't it now? It really has. It's been maybe a couple months almost. It seems like that anyway. I've been flying around all over the world here the last few months, and I just start losing track of time after a while. It really gets a little crazy on the socialite here, you know? And so anyway, to update you a little bit about me since the last time I was on here, I'm still going through psychiatrist. Oh yes. I've lost another 2 since the last time I've been on here in the last couple months. And I guess again, nobody just wants to just sit and chat with me. I don't know what it is. I don't know. My girlfriends don't want to chat with me either. We try to do socialites and lunches and things like that, and we sit down and everybody else chatters. When I start to talk, everybody else changes the subject right away or makes an excuse to go to the bathroom and then never come back. I wonder why that is. Anyway, I don't know. I don't concern myself with those things anyway. I just live life. I mean, why not? I mean, really. I mean, you just gotta roll with the life and roll with the changes, and you just gotta take it every day as it comes, because that's how it is. And so with that, the big event that happened over the last couple months for me is I went back home to my family and stayed with them for a week. It's been a while since the whole family got together. The Lampshires got together. Lord Lampshire and Mommy and all of the siblings were there with me. And it's probably been at least 5 years or more since we've all gotten together and gotten a little powwow going on, as you Americans would say. And it was rather stressful, I have to tell you, because I am the rebel of the family. The other siblings are kissy-kissy to Mommy and Daddy. Well, you know, me, I got out of the house right away and started my excursion. I suppose that's where I got the whole jet-setting experience from, because I just traveled from town to town and learned new experiences. But anyway, getting away from the subject here that we were talking about, I spent a glorious week, I guess you could say, in the town of Lancaster. Oh dear Lord, I need a martini. It is time for Waterford Martini time! Oh yes! Oh yes! Oh, Chef Ron, my compliments to your staff for making such a fabulous dirty martini this time. Ooh, that tickled the back of my throat there for a second. Ooh. Oh dear. Anyway, so getting back on, and I needed that too because I'm going to tell you what happened at Lord Lampshire's estate, where they still live today. Well, anyway, so we got all the siblings. There's actually 6 siblings besides me that are in the Lampshire family. Okay. Martini's just getting to my head. But anyway, so we all got together for this little family reunion, and it was quite interesting. Now, let me tell you briefly about my siblings, and then we'll get on with the food presentation and such, alright? But anyway, my oldest sibling, her name is Angela, and she is quite the pretentious one, really just uppity there, and she just really kisses to Daddy. She's Daddy's little girl. Anything that Angie wants, Angie gets, you know. And then there's Charles. Charles is the masculine one of the group, and you know, he's sort of a rebel too, but he knows how to play mommy. And so he plays the female side of it when he needs something. He doesn't go to Daddy because Daddy knows better. And he goes to Mommy, and if Mommy can't give it to him, then he makes Mommy get Daddy to say yes to it. So you know how that rolls. I'm sure some of you out there have either had that experience in your own life or have had kids of your own, children of your own that have tried pulling that as well. You know, it's that little game that kids like to play. Now, he still plays that today at 37 years old, mind you. That's a little scary. Then we have Cynthia, and Cynthia is sort of a quiet little myth. She really is, and she's very shy, and she just really kind of just doesn't say much. She's the middle one of the group, and she just sort of just doesn't do much of anything, quite frankly. I mean, she's sort of a pill, if you ask me, and the whole family knows it. You know, that's the funny thing, you know. And I've told her, go out and live. Look how your sister's going here. I mean, you know, we're just all over the place, and you know, she just kind of looks at me like that, and you know, it's just really sad. I mean, you know, I told her, come on, why not get out there and live? You know, life is a banquet. I mean, come on. So anyway, Cynthia's just like that, and she just doesn't really do much of anything. She collects her trust, and she just kind of meanders around the estate, and might as well just be a maid for all I care. I mean, she just really doesn't do anything, okay? So she's sort of the black sheep of the, well, I'm really the black sheep of the family, but she's sort of the brown sheep of the family, I guess you could say. And then we have Andrew. Andrew is interesting. Andrew is a lawyer. He is a constable lawyer, and he loves law like you wouldn't believe. I mean, to the extreme. I mean, oh my God, he will tell you anything about law. If you love law, you could engage in a wonderful conversation with Andrew. If you don't like law, you'll be like, where's my martini? You know, it's just, you need 5 martinis to even deal with him. He's so boring, he really is. I mean, I love all my siblings to death, but each of them have their own little nuances. Not to say that I don't either. I have plenty of nuances, let me tell you. Oh my, but we'll get to me in a bit. Alright, so, the 6th sibling besides myself is Margaret. And Margaret is the ultra-conservative. She's not the priss like the first sibling is. And Margaret is more like, just really like, to the left of everything politically. She just doesn't understand anything but money and power and just being the right person, you know, and so her and I probably are on polar opposites because I'm extremely liberal, I mean, obviously, and I do everything just sort of off the cuff and just live life. I mean, like I said, why not? You know, enjoy life, really, you know, and so she just can't. I mean, it's like somebody just poked a stick up her butt. I mean, seriously, she's got this real scholarly look, and you know, it's just amazing. So each of us siblings, of course, then there's me, Lillian, of course, and we all know about me, or you're getting to know about me, of course. So we have all of the kids there, and Mommy and Daddy, and the butlers and maids, and all the other cooks, and all the other people that are at the estate. Alright, so imagine Downton Abbey, if you will, in a way, because it's sort of like that, but in a 2013, 2014 type of a thing, alright? So, anyway, so we go to take this group picture, right? And that was kind of one of the things that Mommy wanted us to come back to and really enjoy, because she hasn't had a group picture of us since I left, and actually that was about 25 years ago. So it's probably been about 25 years ago since we've had a group picture. when actually Margaret was, she's the youngest, and she was just a baby at that time. But anyway, so we all were posing for this picture, or trying to pose for the picture in front of the estate. And the photographer, you can tell after a while, we're just, you know, you've got all these polar personalities going on all at the same time, right? And so anyway, you've got, you know, Margaret scowling, and Andrew's just sort of rolling his eyes, and, you know, I'm all smiles, and, you know, I've had a few martinis, so you know what that means. So anyway, we're all a mess, quite frankly. And so, you know, we finally got a picture of ourselves after about a half an hour and about a lot of dirty looks from the photographer. But we have a fabulous picture, and maybe the next time I come on, I'll show you myself and our family. It's just it really looks like stately, you know. It's not something I would do, but it's really one of them formal types like that, you know. And so anyway, it was for Mom's Day and for Mother's Day, and so, you know, we did it for her. Okay, and that was the experience. I mean, plenty of stories I could tell you, but we don't have all that time because I'm getting a roll like this from the cameraman and producer saying, I've talked my turn now, and I need to start talking about the Chef Ron Lampshire. So enough about me, right? I mean, you don't need to know any more about me. Let's talk about what we're having and what's going into this week's recipe. This week's recipe is one of my favorites, quite frankly. I've had this before from Chef Ron Lampshire, and it is fantastic. It is called Japanese chicken. And I have this actually when I go over to Japan. I have this over in the East a lot, in the Orient, when I go and visit over there. But Chef Ron Lampshire does a very great recipe for this, and I tell you all, you really need to try this. This really is authentic, and it's just fabulous. You'll see how he'll make it all here in a bit. Alright, so that's what we're having today, and let me go ahead and I'm going to take one more sip of my fabulous dirty martini. I'm really not an alcoholic. I know people think that. You know, I've had people tell me, Chef Ron said that a couple people have written in and asked if I have a drinking problem or if I'm an alcoholic. Oh please, not at all. That one martini will last me at least 20 minutes, at least. I mean, come on, why not live, right? Why not? I mean, really. All right, so anyway, let's get into the ingredients, shall we? And we'll start with our star of our recipe, our boneless, skinless chicken. We have 6 beautiful boneless, skinless chicken breasts here. Now Chef Ron is going to go ahead and cube those up for you and have those ready when he comes back on next to start our Japanese chicken preparation. Okay, great. All right, then we've got 1 cup of all-purpose flour. We have here 1 tablespoon of ginger and 1 tablespoon of garlic powder. Now those 3 ingredients I just read off to you, the flour, the ginger, and the garlic powder, those are going to be what coats our chicken pieces, and you'll see how that all works in a bit as well. Chef Ron will take you through the whole procedure. Alright, now the rest of the ingredients I'm going to give you now will be the sauce that goes on top of this fantastic Japanese chicken in the stage 2 part of the recipe. And again, Chef Ron will walk you through that. But let me give you those ingredients, okay? First off, we have 1 cup of sugar. We've got 3 tablespoons, I'm sorry, martini time! That is a ½ cup of white vinegar. I'm verklempt here, and I'm talking Jewish too. Listen to a British woman talking Jewish. Anyway, then we have here 3 tablespoons of water, just plain old water, bottled water preferably. And then we have here a ½ teaspoon of garlic powder, a ½ teaspoon of ginger, and lastly a ½ teaspoon of salt. Oh, and we forgot here 3 tablespoons of soy sauce as well. And that is all of the ingredients that goes into the fantastic sauce that Chef Ron will be making for you as well. All right. Woo! That was a lot of ingredients there, wasn't it now? But we're going to get through it all for you and show you a fantastic recipe in just a moment here when Chef Ron Lampshire comes back. So in the meantime, that means I must depart, right? So I have places to go, people to see, and martinis to drink. So with that said, I will bid everyone a fair adieu, and until next time, remember, life's too short. get out there and live. Why not, right? See you later. Ta-ta, everyone. Ta-ta. Well, hi everyone, Chef Ron Locke here. How's everyone doing out there today? Alright! We have a great crowd out there, it sounds like, and thank you so much everybody for coming to another episode of the Chef Ron Locke Show. Lillian Lampshire, our luxurious lap of London lady. How did you like her today? I'll tell you what, she is so amazingly just free. Free is a good word I would probably use for her. I'll tell you what though, she loves her martinis probably about as much as she loves the recipe that we're going to be making for you today on the show. Because I know for a fact that she orders this out when she goes jet setting to wherever parts unknown, and I know that this is one of her favorite things that she orders when she goes to restaurants, especially Eastern type restaurants. And so she's told you what we're going to be making for you today. It is our Japanese chicken, and you're going to love this. It's a 3-step recipe. It's not really involved, but for the sake of this show, we got to get moving because there's a lot of quick steps that we got to do to create this fantastic dish. So I'm going to keep my chatter to the minimum on this episode so I can show you everything that I need to show you for this. Alright, so you know what? Let's get to it. Alright, let's get started here. You look over here. You can see right off the bat, I have taken my 6 chicken breasts, my boneless, skinless chicken breast, and I've cubed those up into bite-sized pieces. I have those here in a bowl, and then I've taken my flour, my ginger, and my garlic powder, and I've put them into a Ziploc bag right here. You just go ahead and do that, and then just shake it up a little bit, okay? Get that all shaken up. I hadn't shaken it up yet. I just did this right before I got on here. Alright, just like that. You get that nicely shaken up, alright? Set that back down. Now what we're going to want to do is we want to go ahead and put our chicken bites, our chicken pieces, into our coated flour mixture here because we're going to go ahead and coat the chicken. What we're going to be doing with this chicken once it's coated is we're going to brown it on either side, and we'll get to that next stage here in just a moment. But let me first go ahead, and what you want to do is go ahead and just get yourself a pair of tongs here, and you can just go ahead and introduce your little pieces of chicken into your bag, just like we're doing here. And I don't know if the other camera can get this or not. You getting this? Just like that. You put a few pieces in. You don't want to fill the whole bag up. Just a few at a time. Okay, just like that. Alright. Now, you see we've got a few pieces in like that. Like that. Alright. Now, go ahead and seal up your bag here. You know what? Before I do that though, I just want to go ahead and, as I always say on every show, you always want to make sure that your hands and your environment are nice and clean. I was getting so into getting this going, I had completely forgot about just mentioning that real quick. So we're also going to go ahead and roll our sleeves up because now we're going to get down and dirty in this kitchen, and we're going to start heating it up a little bit because we have a lot of work to do here. So let me go ahead and roll these up here, and let's get busy. You're going to love this chicken. This Japanese chicken, when you put the ingredients out to get it ready, you can already smell what it's going to taste like. If you've ever had it before, you can tell. That vinegar, soy sauce, that whole combination, you can it exudes fumes, and you can smell it as you're preparing it. So alright, that's what I'm smelling, that the ingredients are over on the other side here. We'll be doing that in the next section here, or in a couple sections in this show. But oh, I'm just smelling it as I'm getting here. Alright, so you've got your bag of your chicken pieces here, and we want to coat these, alright? Now, a really cute thing you can do is, if you want, you can, hey, do some aerobic music with it, shake it up a little bit. In fact, maestro, please. All right. I'm getting a look over to the side from the producer. guy over here. He's just looking at me. He's like... Anyway, you can have a little fun. I always tell you, cooking should be a lot of fun, right? And you should have a lot of fun. Hey, you can burn off some of those calories you're going to be eating when you have this too, or using it when you're eating this too. So, all right, and then this is what you end up with, is you end up with some nicely coated chicken pieces that are going to be going into our Japanese chicken dish that we're going to be preparing a little bit later on in this show. But right now, we're going to go ahead and take these pieces and we're going to show you the next step in preparing our Japanese chicken. Browning the chicken. Let's go ahead now and do that. Alright, now that we've taken our chicken pieces and lightly coated them with flour, as you can see over on our plate right here, we're going to go ahead and lightly brown those in a little bit of oil in a large skillet over here on the stove. And you can see I've got my skillet already here. The oil is hot. It's at 325 degrees. And we're just going to go ahead and do that right now for you here. Let's go ahead and show you. I like, personally, to use a slotted spoon like I've got here. And what I do is I just take a few of the pieces here and then try to shake off as much of the flour as you can, and then I just drop them into the oil. Okay, just like that. Now you see, it's not roaring, and we don't want a roaring oil bath here. We just want to lightly brown these on either side, and you can see that's the perfect temperature right there. On my oven, or on my stove, it's probably right around a 6. It's probably about a 5 o'clock, if you were looking at a clock, of where my settings are for that. Now you don't want to overcrowd this either. You want to have enough room in between these pieces to get them nice and brown. And you see the oil is just about up to the half of these. Because these are small pieces, you don't need a lot of oil. Okay? So you'll get probably about a half to 3/4 of your plate in each frying here. And I don't even like to use the word frying, even though we are kind of frying these. We're just lightly browning these, really. Just like that. That's good enough right there. Now what I like to do is just take a tong and just kind of move them around. You see how I'm doing that here. Because like everything else, they have a tendency to stick. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'll show you here in just a second here when they start browning up. Okay, now you can see that these are nicely lightly brown. They're nice and lightly brown, and that's what we want. So I think here another 30 seconds or so and we should be all set to go ahead and put these into our 9x13 baking dish. So let's go ahead and do that right now.
On the next episode of the Chef Ron Locke Show.
So, Ashley's texting me all this stuff, and I can't. It's like a new language. I went to it's like TXT. I'm with my BFF and going shopping, and she's got all these abbreviations for everything, and I'm like, what is a BFF? That sounds kind of dirty to me, you know? I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I like that word at all. You know, she's like, it's best friends forever or something like that. I'm like, why can't you just talk English? She's like, well, it's texting language. And I said, well, I am a grandma that don't know texting language. Talk to me in English, please. You know, I'm serious, you know. I'll show you here in a second. But you know, what you can do too, and I wanted to tell you this in the last segment, is that if you want to go ahead and bump this up to a meat dish, a main dish, an encore, or an entree, you can go ahead and add in bacon, chop bacon up. That would be good. I've done that. You can go ahead and add in ham, diced ham. That's always really good. I've even done turkey. I've made this the day after Thanksgiving and added turkey in this, and it worked out just as well too. Okay, so now we've taken our lightly browned chicken pieces and we've placed them into a 9x13 baking dish that you see over here on the counter that I've done. You just layer them on the bottom, and now we're ready for stage 2 of our Japanese chicken, which is making the sauce that goes over this chicken. This sauce is fantastic, let me tell you. And you saw Lillian in the beginning introduce the ingredients for you. There's some fantastic stuff going in this, let me tell you. So let's get started with that, all right? All right, first of all, you want to get yourself a good size saucepan that we have here on the stove. And what you want to do is we basically want to bring our ingredients to a boil. And what you want to do is add your liquid ingredients first, and then go ahead and incorporate your dry ones and then get them mixed up. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Okay, so the first thing we're going to go ahead and do is add in our water. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and incorporate our vinegar next. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, now we'll add in our soy sauce. That. Now you can go ahead and start adding your dry ingredients. Let's go ahead and add in our salt, our garlic powder, our ginger, without Marianne, and lastly our sugar. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and get this to a boil. So you want to go ahead and put this at a medium-high heat at least. And we want this sauce to boil. But you want to go ahead and start stirring this. Now, I added these ingredients in before I turned any heat on. The main reason is because you're adding a lot of sugar in this, and sugar burns very, very, very easily in heat. So we didn't want that to happen. So we just added our ingredients first, and then we hit the heat, and then we'll just go ahead and just whisk this into a rapid boil. And once it starts to boil, then we'll go ahead and take that off. So let's go ahead and see how this turns out. Okay, as you can see now, it's come to a boil, and we're going to go ahead and turn this off because we don't want this to go spilling over the pan here. So as soon as you see it roaringly boil, just go ahead and turn your heat off and keep mixing this for about another minute after that. It takes probably about 3 to 5 minutes to get to this boiling point. And just stir this, whisk this out for about another minute. Okay? Just like this. Let me tell you, it smells so fantastic, the flavors in here. And when you start to see the bubbles recede, as you're seeing here, then you know it's time to go ahead and put this over your chicken layer. Just like that. Okay, and that's it. Our sauce is complete. And now, all we need to do is just go ahead and we're going to go ahead and pour this right now on top of our chicken that we browned up here. And you're just going to see how I'm pouring this on, just like so. Just like so. Just like that. Just get a good liberal coating on it. Now we're going to be marinating this in the oven as well. Okay, just like that. All right, you see how that goes? All right, now what we're going to do, we go ahead and we're going to put this into our, we're going to put this into our preheated 350-degree oven. Now what we're going to do in the baking process is we're going to bake this for 40 minutes, all right? And at the end of 20 minutes, what we're going to want to do is go in there and baste those pieces of chicken. Basically what we're going to do is just, you can take a slotted spoon or anything you wish and just turn those around, turn those over, and just get the basting process going with that. And just make sure you get all that nice juice incorporated with your chicken, all right? So we're going to let that go ahead and happen for a bit. Now, we have a great mailbag segment that we have coming up next here, and this is from one of our fans out there that has wrote in and asked myself or one of our cast members a question, and we're going to go ahead right now and answer that for this individual. It's pretty wild, so you're going to want to check this out. Let's go to our mailbag right now.
Mailbag.
Welcome to another edition of Mailbag. This question comes to me, Smokey, from Carolyn R., who lives in Manitowoc, Wisconsin. Now Carolyn's asking, Smokey, I know you talk about your old lady on the Chef Ron Locke show, so I know you're married. How long have you been married to her? And what's your secret for staying together? Well, that's a good question. Carolyn, I've been married to my old lady for going on 24 years. We're going to have our silver anniversary in 2015. And the kids are already getting a little excited. They want to plan something. I don't really care. I don't know. I know the old lady's probably really going to want to do something, so I'll leave it to the girls to figure it out. I'll do whatever they want to do, you know. I'm pretty laid back that way. Secret to marriage, huh? Well, I think a lot of it is communication. I think you need to be able to talk to each other. You got to have that real good bond with each other. There shouldn't be any secrets. Don't go cheating on anyone, for God's sakes. I mean, that's really crazy. You know, I mean, if you do and it works for you both and you want to do that thing too, that's fine. But, you know, we talk a lot, and we're not afraid to say anything to each other about anything, really. And I think that has a lot to do with it. She's kind of like the old saying, my yin, or she's my yin to my yang, or something like that. But we both complement each other really well. You know, we're a lot different in a lot of ways. You know, she's kind of the, and I'm not ashamed to say this, she's kind of the brains in the family. She does all the finances and different things like that. And, you know, I'm more the muscle. I'm more the, you know, fixing things up, doing the honey-do list, stuff like that. You know, it's one of those traditional kind of marriage things that we got going on, you know. But anyway, you know, a lot of it just boils down to just having respect for each other, communicating with each other, and yeah, you know, some good times at night too. Hell, or during the day, or anytime. You know, you got to have that in there too. I think where the relationship will stray a little bit too. Now, I'm not a philosopher, and I don't know what the answers of the world are. I just know that my old lady and I have a great relationship. It works for us, and if it works for us, that's all that really matters, right? So, anyway, I hope that answers your question in kind of a weird sort of way, Carolyn. But anyway, if you guys out there, you bros or sisters out there, you want to go ahead and write us and ask myself or Chef Ron or one of the other cast characters he has on his show, just go ahead and write us at crl@chefronlock.com. Again, that's crl@chefronlock.com. And if you're lucky, we'll go ahead and take your question and we'll answer it here on a future segment of Mailbag. All right, that's it. Let's go ahead and get on with the Chef Ron Lock Show. All right, here we are. It's presentation time, and we have a fantastic presentation plate of our Japanese chicken right here. Look at how good that looks. Oh my goodness, and this house smells fantastic. You get this sweet and sour smell, just like if you walked into a Chinese restaurant. It's just fantastic. It is so authentic, and it's so good. Now, this Japanese chicken you would normally serve over rice. I opted to go ahead and just put it on the plate as it was because I wanted to represent the recipe standalone. I didn't want to doctor it up with a bunch of stuff because I wanted you to see how it looked like after it came out of the oven here. So this is just fantastic. I mean, really, you saw in the beginning here in the casserole dish how it all looked, right? Okay, I wanted to always make sure that you see the end result before I show you the presentation plate because it really just gives it just a great view, you know, of how it all turns out. You've got this great 9x13 baking dish filled of wonderful Japanese chicken, and like I said, here on this presentation plate you've got just a sampling of what is in store for you when you make this recipe, let me tell you. So, alright, I'm done talking. I want to eat. I've been waiting for this moment. So let me go ahead and do that right now. I'm going to go ahead, I've got my napkin, my fork. Let's go ahead and take a bite of this. Well, like that. and see what happens here. Well, we know what's going to happen. Unbelievably good. Unbelievably good. Now, as I always tell you, and let me straighten that up a little bit because we always want to show you here while I'm talking about it. This Japanese chicken, when you first bite into it, you get the flavors immediately of the soy sauce, the vinegar, and the sugar all mixed together. You can taste the ginger. The garlic powder really is a stabilizer. It's not supposed to be strong. It's supposed to blend with all the other flavors to give it that extra oomph to it, you know. So it enhances the whole flavor of this food. But you just get these amazing flavors. Of course, the chicken is wonderful itself. And also, the sauce, like I said, is just amazing. It's really important you base this, though, 20 minutes in to the cooking time of the 40 minutes total. Because if you don't, what's going to happen is you can have a propensity of drying out the chicken because it's not wet and coated as it bakes. And secondly, you're not getting all that goodness that you really want to get into that chicken itself. So my recommendation is definitely don't miss that step. After 20 minutes, get in there and baste it. All you got to do is just take a big spoon and just spoon it around. That's all it is. It's real simple. And that's it. That is our Japanese chicken. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I want to thank Lillian Lampshire, our luxurious lap of London lady, or martini lady, however you want to call it, for joining us today and helping us out with the ingredients and letting y'all know what we were going to be making. I also want to thank each and every one of you out there, as always, for making this show so fun to do, because without you, I wouldn't be doing it. So thank you all again for tuning into another episode of the Chef Ron Locke Show. This is Chef Ron Locke, saying as I always do, get off that couch and get cooking. And we will see you next time.